Hey guys, so this is one of my cardboard growing containers. And these plants you see in here are Swiss chard. They've come out of my window grow light situation. And I have put them in here so that they can get acclimated to, I don't know, a temperature shift, a light shift. In this container, I can take it out to the cold frame or the greenhouse during the day and then bring it back inside at night while it's just kind of getting caught up. I'm going to be watching the temperatures at night out in the greenhouse to see when I think I can leave them out there. And that will be when the hotbed has peaked. I have moved all my cool weather plants here underneath the swing set. My kids don't play in this area. So I dug away all the mulch so that they're in contact with bare soil. I dumped 3 buckets of really strong rabbit manure tea on the dirt, put the boxes in, pushed the mulch up back around them. I have a frost cloth on the back ready to be put on at any minute. But hands down, the ones that have done the best have been the ones that I put wool in the bottom of, dirty wool. That one over there with the sad basil, that one I put potting soil in and nothing underneath it. What the wool or the straw or the hay does is it retains water in the bottom and it gives the bacteria carbon to eat, and it just retains the water a whole lot better than just plain potting soil. I wanted to show you what I do when the bottom of one of my cardboard box gardens gives way. You can see I picked it up and the bottom actually started to fall out, but I wanted to show you the mushrooms. Those were mushrooms that were growing on the base, which means I had plenty of manure down there and moisture and everything. And that's what grew out in the greenhouse last year in my hotbed. So I don't need 500,000 onions. So the fact that these are a little bit spindly, and it's gonna take, and some of them aren't real big, it just doesn't matter. You keep watering them, they get a little bigger, you transplant them, and it all works out just fine. So you can see I put them in another box, and I'm gonna carry it out to the greenhouse because it doesn't really need to be in here right now. And we will start on the next flat in the house, which will be tomatoes. I had somebody ask if I don't use the boxes anymore, and well, I'll explain myself. Yes, I use the boxes. See that? That's a box. And that's a, well, you can't really see it. That's a box. But what I found in effect was that on these straw bales, this is my box. And because the straw is porous and absorbs water, it's like I just have a great big huge cardboard box that heats up too. So the straw bales are a non-movable type of cardboard box. Now I'll show you over here, and this will make more sense to you. One of the main reasons I like to use the cardboard boxes with the sheep's wool and the rabbit manure at the bottom is I can start them in my windows, and a lot of them have a deep taproot, or the medicinal part of it is the root. You don't want to mess with that root. So I'll start them in the boxes that will then become their permanent home, and then I bring them out to their permanent home. I set them down, I push some mulch up around them so that they're in good contact with everything, and then I continue to water them in the box. And what happens is that the weeds can't get through that bottom of the box. The weeds can't get through, and so it gives my perennials a huge head start, and it means I don't have to weed them. Now, this spot is 2 years old, and it came with some natural dirt instead of potting soil. And so it does have some grass in it that I have to go in and periodically pull it out, make sure it doesn't go to seed. But that used to be a box. That used to be a cardboard box that has now disintegrated and become one with the soil. So that's the difference, is that these are like a big cardboard box that I don't move around. And so I can put my annuals in them. And again, they warm up. So they're an enormous, beautiful, amazing cardboard box. See the mushrooms? But we haven't had any real problem with that. You can see the mushrooms. And I love the double-decker system anywhere that I have ducks, because a duck will reach through the cracks to eat dirt, and if you only have a one-layer system, they can reach their head all the way in there. With the two-layer system, not only is it right at waist height, so it's super, super easy for me to take care of, but barring something that can fly really well, I don't have to really worry. Now, when I had the muscovies out here, they did fly up on top of the box, and that's why the muscovies aren't in here anymore. But for baby animals that can't fly, this is fantastic. So anyway, that's how everything looks, and we are harvesting from it every day, and for every meal I'm harvesting about 1 foot square, and everything that I have in here is cut and come again as far as the greens. And I will be really careful pulling out radishes and stuff like that, because it is potting soil, it is valuable. I don't want it to leave the bed. But I also have kohlrabi, onions, carrots in this particular space. And then back there we have Swiss chard and spinach. This is sorrel and Swiss chard. I have some cabbages, some tatsoi and some bok choy, and of course the peas. So I don't know if you guys had any other questions. So this bed is quite warm. Okay, I watered it in really good last night, so it's going to be really warm for these tomatoes. I did have the caps on them. In our climate, it's not enough just to have that single layer of greenhouse protection if you have tender plants. I have to have a double layer of protection. So y'all seem pretty happy. I am going to go and get my peat moss to spread on this so that I can also put in onions and greens, so that I am making the most of my space. And I also have 2 tomatoes down there that are planted in the deep mulch, not in actual soil, because again, I don't have soil. And I just threw a blanket over the top of them last night. You can see the wire cage. It's good enough to stay upright in the mulch, but it also does not go through the soil, because all I have is a rock base underneath.
She's a praying mantis. I named her Praying because every time they tuck up their arms, they look like they're praying, and she's huge.
Now the reason why I screamed was a curly piece of straw I hooked onto my toe, and I thought it was a grasshopper, and grasshopper do sticky things, and it is not comfortable. It scares me. That's why.
That is a huge.
That is why I'm
So after finding her in the front yard, we brought her out to the greenhouse.
Yeah, we plucked off a piece of grass she was on, and I kept on switching because she kept on going towards my hand, and I wasn't ready for her to get on my hand. Then when we got in here, I put her on my hand, and she did all right.
Put on my hand.
Okay.
So here we are, late September, and the greenhouse is still 75 and 80 degrees. We're pulling out beautiful tomatoes. It's going to be a shame that we won't be here, but
There's lots of them.
it is getting eaten for sure.
And we're glad the bad bugs are being eaten too.
I think she's eating some right now.
Don't take off any fingers, okay?
Again.
I may have to live in Oklahoma instead of Texas.
It's gorgeous here, isn't it?
Oh, and yet when we got into to Texas, I was like, we should live here. And when we got into New Mexico, I was like, we should live here.
Yeah.
How are
So,
we going to make a decision?
oh well, just narrow it down to the south, and I'm good with any of them. So we are on our way, right? So with the driving, everybody's a little just, tired, driving tired.
So we're taking a long walk.
So we're taking a very long walk, Thank you. Have a great night and a wonderful week, and a Merry Christmas if I forget to say it before the time.